The film is, after all, a fever dream stitched together from the remnants of 1990s survival horror, a deliberate, grimy counterpoint to the high-octane action spectacle that preceded it in the cinematic Resident Evil canon. This is not a story of a sleek, leather-clad super spy. It is a tale of forgotten people in a forgotten place, devoured by the consequences of corporate avarice. Johannes Roberts, the film's writer and director, didn't just adapt the first two classic video games. He attempted to bottle the very essence of their dread. Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City unfolds as a bifurcated nightmare, mirroring the dual narratives of its source material. The year is 1998, a date less significant for its actual historical context than for the specific aesthetic of a fading decade: grunge, dilapidated small-town America, and a pervasive sense of dread lurking beneath the surface of late capitalist decay. Raccoon City itself is the first character, a melancholy Midwestern corpse of a town. Its soul was long ago sucked out by the Umbrella Corporation, the pharmaceutical behemoth that built it up only to abandon it, leaving behind a husk of shuttered businesses and budget-starved public services. This sense of corporate blight, a municipality literally dying from the inside out due to a callous corporate exodus, is arguably the film's most resonant thematic element, framing the eventual zombie apocalypse not as a random event, but as an inevitable, pustulant outcome of unchecked power. Our main focus fragments into two distinct journeys on one terrible night. In the decaying metropolis, we follow Claire Redfield, played with a weary, conspiratorial edge by Scodelario. Claire returns to Raccoon City, hitchhiking from a self-imposed exile, driven by vague but deeply unsettling warnings about Umbrella's ongoing, nefarious experiments. She is the harbinger of doom, the outsider who knows the city is sick long before the fever breaks. Her desperate attempts to reconnect with her estranged brother, Chris, a member of the elite Special Tactics and Rescue Service, land her squarely in the path of the outbreak's genesis. She quickly falls in with Leon S. Kennedy, portrayed by Avan Jogia, not as the seasoned hero of later games, but as the utterly overwhelmed, self-deprecating rookie cop, a man whose first day on the job is also, quite literally, the city's last. This duo's survival hinges on navigating the labyrinthine, virtually deserted Raccoon City Police Department, a location lovingly, almost obsessively, recreated from the pixels of the 1998 game, down to its ornate, yet oppressive architecture, which morphs from a beacon of safety into a suffocating death trap. The RPD siege sequence, a gruesome twist on John Carpenter's assault on Precinct 13, is the film's central claustrophobic set piece, where the initial, slow-burn tension of survival horror gives way to a brutal, close-quarters melee. Meanwhile, Chris Redfield and his STARS Alpha team, including the stoic Jill Valentine and the ambiguously motivated Albert Wesker, are dispatched to the sinister, isolated Spencer Mansion on the city's outskirts. This location, a notorious monument to Gothic horror in the game series, is where the initial infection took hold. Their segment is a tribute to the Resident Evil 1 experience, isolated, atmospheric, and saturated with classic monster encounters. This half of the narrative leans more heavily into architectural dread, featuring dimly lit hallways, sudden scares, and the chilling realization that the team's mission to investigate missing comrades is merely a cover for a deeper, more treacherous conspiracy. Wesker, traditionally the ultimate villain, is recast here as a morally compromised operative motivated by money and survival, a pragmatic turn that attempts to ground his eventual betrayal in something more human, even if that humanity is rotten. The film successfully captures the visual vibe of the early games. Locations, from the orphanage where the Redfield siblings suffered under the terrifying experiments of Dr. William Birkin, to the aforementioned RPD and mansion, feel lifted directly from the source material. Roberts utilizes practical effects and makeup for the zombies wherever possible, aiming for a tactile, gooey, B-movie horror aesthetic reminiscent of 70s and 80s low-budget fright flicks, favoring atmosphere and jump scares over consistent action. The creatures, the first exposed zombie, the terrifying Licker, the iconic, disfigured Lisa Trevor, are rendered with a morbid fidelity that delights fans with its accuracy, even if the surrounding narrative struggles under the weight of cramming the interlocking plots of two massive games into a single, kinetic 107-minute feature. This compression is where the film finds its greatest difficulty. By forcing the characters and critical plot beats of both Raccoon City and the Spencer Mansion into a single night, the narrative sacrifices character development for pacing. The personal traumas and arcs of Claire and Leon are often overshadowed by the necessity of moving them from one fan service moment to the next, rushing their emotional journey to keep pace with the spreading pandemic and the escalating monster encounters. The thematic resonance of a town abandoned by its corporate overlord risks being lost in the chaos of a third act that devolves into a train-bound confrontation with the grotesquely mutated Dr. Birkin, culminating in a rocket launcher blast that is pure, unadulterated video game logic. Yet, despite its flaws, and in spite of its sometimes murky cinematography which perhaps overdoes the survival aspect of survival horror, Welcome to Raccoon City is undeniably a love letter. It is written on cheap paper, signed in the blood of its zombified populace, and delivered with the sincerity of a director obsessed with the source material. It is an imperfect, overstuffed, and occasionally disjointed creature feature, but it succeeds in what it sets out to do: bring the dark, grungy, terrifying world of 1998 Raccoon City to the screen with a fidelity the franchise had never before attempted. It asks the audience to look past the Resident Evil name, and instead, to see a small, dying town where the real horror was always the sheer, unimaginable cruelty of the people in charge. The zombies were just the symptom. The Umbrella Corporation was the disease.